wellness to get you all started on the right foot for 2022. You'll also see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's a QR code. If you'd like, you can go ahead and scan that to get a good check on your financial health and potentially get paired with the Regions Advisor. So we'd advise you all to scan over that code, go to that link. And Mikki, could you remind me or remind the audience what the Banker ID is in that chat?
Absolutely. It's in the chat, but the Banker ID number is C like cat 6356.
All right. So now I'm going to introduce Miss Mikki to you all. Mikki is a certified financial wellness relationship manager. Her Bachelor of Science in Business Finance is from the University of Phoenix. Mikki's financial advisory career began when she was an employee of First Wisconsin Bank. She currently works for Regions Bank and has been employed with them for over 14 years. Her passion is advising individuals and small business owners in planning and implementation of credit and wealth building, management strategies, and retirement planning. After becoming debt-free, congratulations, Mikki realized that power of good credit and investments and the way that those things can not only impact your financial health, but your mental health as well. Mikki, ever the optimist, believes that no matter your age, you can learn new effective money management skills and techniques to grow your portfolio. So thank you so much for being here today with us, Mikki.
Thank you.
Excited to have you and learn from you. And as for Mr. Barnes, Lee Barnes is a VP branch manager of Regions Bank. He has over 19 years of banking experience. He currently manages the Collins and Mount Olive, Mississippi branches. He has a BS in Business Administration from the University of Southern Mississippi and an MBA from William Carey University. He grew up outside of Collins, and growing up in Hot Coffee, Mississippi, he understood the importance of getting an education and educating others. He serves as a board member for the local Boys and Girls Club in Collins, Mississippi, and he is a board member for the Laurel Public School District Vocational Technology Center. That's a mouthful, but that's important. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and we'll be back for questions at the end. But remember to scan that QR code so you can start getting a read on your own financial health. And if you'd like, you can also get paired with the Regions Advisor. So I'm going to turn it over to you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angelina. Thank you, BeanPath, for having us this afternoon. First, I want to say good afternoon to the BeanPath techs that are all out there. I am so excited to be here with you today. And just thank you for choosing to spend your valuable time with us to learn more about smart money moves in 2022. We are truly elated to share this information with you. So like Angeline said, if you would please just take a few minutes to scan the QR code you see here on the screen in front of you, I would greatly appreciate it. And again, that Banker ID number to put in to take the survey is C like cat 6356. Now, a little information about that QR code. It is comprised of 8 survey questions, and it is designed to provide you with a snapshot of your financial health score. Now, we know like the credit score, it's not always something that's pretty in detail, but the answers you provide will be aligned to 4 categories and will create sub-scores that make up your overall financial health score in spend, save, borrow, and plan. Now, this is not, like I mentioned before, a complete picture of your financial situation. Like your credit score is not a complete picture of your credit history, but it is a very informative starting point for you just to see where you are and to know where you want to go. That's the key. So our goal is to really show you that snapshot of where you are and then help you to reach your financial end goal dream to become financially healthy and fit in 2022. That's the goal, right? So after you receive that financial health score, you can hit the next button to have a subject matter expert banker like Lee Barnes reach out to you, and he'll be able to share more information with you and go through a thorough walk-through step, which is called our green print, to get more in depth about your financial goals that you have, because you wouldn't be here today if you didn't really want to be financially fit and healthy. So that's that whole purpose of that survey that you're taking. We want to create an actual financial blueprint for you and with you. Now, the great news is that you do not have to bank at Regions Bank to take advantage of this financial green print conversation to create a blueprint for your financial future. But however, If you choose to bank with us or already do, it just really makes it a lot more personal for you by having an accountability partner to help you reach and achieve and maintain your financial goals. So that's the whole purpose of that. Enough of that. If you didn't get a chance to scan it, no worries. We will bring it back up at the end. Now that I want you to take a look here, just for about 5 seconds, I'm going to pause to allow you all to read the disclaimer. I hope you all had a chance to read that disclaimer. But today, Being Path Techs, being here really shows that you care about your financial health and that you are taking an important step towards your financial future by learning about more ways to manage your money by building smart money habits today. So this is a very interactive seminar. Yes, interactive. That means I want to hear back from you. We're going to use this chat feature to talk to one another because I do have questions, and it's better when we all can share. So make sure you can find your chat feature now. Go ahead and tell me. I'm going to put in the chat feature. Tell me what you have for breakfast this morning. I can get one or two of you to share. I had waffles. Anyone else? Oatmeal. Okay, I see someone is able to use that chat feature. Anybody else? Omelet. Ooh, I love omelets. Apples and peanut butter. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Those sound really, really good. I ate waffles, not too healthy. Should be a little bit more healthier. But thank you all. This means that we can communicate with one another. I'm excited. Biscuits and grits, yes, love that too. Well, today, guys, we're going to focus on these big questions that you see here. What are the steps for setting financial goals? How can you track your daily spending habits? How can you prepare a personal saving and spending plan to estimate your monthly income and expenses? And are there tools to help you manage your cash flow? Yes, they are tools that I absolutely love. And then are there ways to increase your income and decrease your spending? That's where Lee is going to share with you guys phenomenal ways to increase your income and decrease your spending a little bit later in the seminar. So since I have the tech geniuses on this seminar, go ahead and pull out your smartphone devices. And I want you to type in there, and I'm going to put in the chat, www.regions.com/next step. Now, this is so that you can get access to our hub page. A lot of the information we're going to be sharing today, we have a lot of resources and tools on regions.com/next step. And I want you to have at your fingertips our hub page that is filled with free tools and resources to help you take the next step in your financial future. So we'll go ahead and get started. But first, let's talk a little bit about being specific. Now, when it comes to smart money moves, we have to be specific. So can someone tell me in the chat, why do you think it is so important to set financial goals and to be specific about your financial goals? I'll wait for any responses. Why do you think it's so important to set financial goals and be specific about setting those goals? I'll say this, having a goal, emergencies, yes, I see one coming through. To make sure, let's see here, okay, they're coming in. To have a map of where you want to go with your money, absolutely. To make sure you are being realistic and not living beyond your means. I love that, absolutely. Because having a goal will change how you look at your money, right? You will start to see how every decision you make matters to your greater financial health. So that's why it's so important to be specific. And we all know being specific and setting goals, there are different types of goals, right? So being specific, someone says gives you a blueprint. Yes, I love the blueprint. Layout to effectively target your financial goals. Financial goals like setting short-term, mid-term, and long-term financial goals is a very important step toward becoming financially secure. Now, if you are not working toward anything specific, you are likely to spend more than you should. And so you will end up coming up short when you actually do need money for unexpected bills, not to mention an unexpected pandemic, right? But even when you retire. So that is why it's so important to be specific, set the goals, give yourself that blueprint layout to effectively target your financial goals. I love that. I love that. But I saw emergencies, goals, big picture purchases, houses, cars, TVs, vacations, retirement, you name it, whatever it is. It's more important to improve the standard of living. So I have a little 2-minute video, not even that long. I want to share with you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you can actually hear the sound.
As with most achievements, financial success requires that you clearly define your goals and work towards them. Here are a few tips on setting financial goals.
Can you hear that? Great.
The first step is to identify your financial goals. This could be paying for college, buying a new car, taking a dream vacation, starting your own business, or buying your own home. The next step is to organize your goals into achievable timeframes, short-term, medium-term, and long-term, like goals you can accomplish in less than a year, in 1 to 3 years, or goals that will take 5 years or more. Another important step is to educate yourself. Read personal financial websites, blogs, and magazines on managing your money. With only a modest amount of effort, you can learn important information that can help you increase your net worth many times over. Finally, be disciplined about tracking your progress against your goals. Choose regular intervals, such as monthly or quarterly, to check how you are progressing and adjust accordingly so that you stay on track. And then relax and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing that you are on your way to achieving your financial goals. For more insightful information that can help you confidently take your next financial steps, visit regions.com/mygreenguide.
Awesome. I am so happy. And I love the part where she's sitting there relaxing, because that's how I feel. When you set those financial goals to reach your goals, you really get that peace of mind. And so now let's just discuss the steps that you need to take to put yourself in control of your money. So first, as you can see on the screen, your financial goals, we have to identify your financial goals. As someone mentioned earlier in the chat, yours might be something like sending the kids to college, buying a car, making a down payment on a house, or even going on a vacation, paying off credit card debt, and retiring. That's my end game right now in my stage of life that I'm in. And so that's my goal. But yours could be any of those. The key is identify your financial goal for 2022. Then you want to organize your financial goals. You want to break each goal down into small goals, such as I mentioned, short-term goals or things you can accomplish, like you heard in the video, in less than 1 year. Then you have your medium-term goals, which you can complete in 1 to 3 years, and your long-term goals that may take 5 years or longer. That is organizing your goals in a great timely manner. Educating yourself. With a little effort, you can learn enough to make educated decisions, that may increase your net worth many times over. I know any type of promotions, picking up any kind of trades, this can help increase your net worth, and Lee's going to talk more about that. But read personal financial websites, blogs, magazines, books, and books on managing your money. And who doesn't love a podcast? I do. So start making sure you educate yourself with Money Matter type of blogs and magazines and any type of books you can find on learning more about that. I know I love to listen to Dave Ramsey. That's one of mine. So any kind of podcast that sparks your interest to train you a little bit more about educating yourself when it comes to your money and growing your money. And then most importantly, you want to evaluate your progress. Review your progress regularly, monthly, quarterly, to determine if your program that you have is working for you. Because if you are not making satisfactory progress on a particular goal that you set, reevaluate your approach and make the necessary changes as needed. And keep in mind that setting financial goals allows for the creation of a realistic plan. It allows you to track your progress, create accountability, gives you a reason to celebrate Who doesn't love to celebrate? I do. But it also gives you that peace of mind, and it can even stretch your income. So make sure you always evaluate and set financial goals. Now, I hope you have your handouts because we did provide handouts. There's 2 pages to this handout, and I'm going to start to talk about the first page. Lee will touch on the second page, but we're going to now talk a little bit about that first page of the handout that you have. And if you didn't get it, no worries. I'll make sure I get it back out to you guys today. So if you have it, go ahead now and get off that first page. We're going to talk about some personal spending plans, developing and following a personal spending plan. Because after you've set your financial goals, a good way to start taking control of your financial situation is to develop and follow through, right? So on a personal spending plan or a budget, thank you, Angelina. I see the link there. A spending plan is a step-by-step plan for meeting expenses in a given period of time. It is about choices, right? Choosing how to make money and choosing how to spend money. So that's what that spending plan will give you. It can help you make sure you have money to pay bills on time, even when your bills and income change each month. This is the goal of using a personal spending plan. Now tell me, how do you think this spending plan will help you? If you don't have a spending plan already, how do you think this spending plan will help you? Let me hear from you in the chat. Give me some ideas on how a spending plan would help you. Structure, absolutely. Structure is the key. It helps you reduce the anxiety of not knowing whether you have enough money to pay your bills when they are due. I know a lot of people say, I don't want to hear about the B word, the budget. But the budget really shines light on how much money you do have and how much money you really can spend. So it structures that for you. It gives you a sense of control over your money rather than letting money have control over you. It will help you build assets, believe it or not, that will improve the quality of life for you and your family. So that's why it's so important to develop and follow a personal spending plan. All right, so we know that knowledge is power when it comes to your monthly cash flow. So knowing where all of your money comes from, income, and where it all goes, which is your expenses, every month will really help you take control of your financial situation. Now, earlier I mentioned I love calculators. I want to show you guys, and I'm going to bring this over to you now, just what it looks like. This is one of our calculators, and we have over 100 different calculators. We have calculators on how much money can I afford to pay for a car note, from how much money do I need to save to be a millionaire. But I want you to see this one, how to calculate a cash flow. Give me a thumbs up if you can see this on your screen here. Awesome, awesome, thank you. So, as you can all see this on your screen here, this is a sample of one of our calculators. Getting your spending under control and in line with your income is an essential element to building a strong financial future. As it reads, it analyzes your spending. So we can change this number here to 10,000. With these different calculators, you can get a true eye-opening of where you are monthly with your income and how much you have to spend. This will calculate your cash flow for you. So if you have $10,000 a month, and then you have investment income of maybe $500 a month coming in, other income of $500. This shows the monthly income coming in, right? So with monthly expenses, let's say you pay out $2,500 a month in your mortgage payment or rent, and then your monthly loan payments with your vehicle is $750. Your insurance expenses $450. You got utility bills. Let's take that up a notch to $750. It depends on the weather, right? And then even other monthly expenses, we can round that off to $900. This will show you exactly what your net cash flow is. So you want to take a look at this picture here, because this will calculate all of that for you. And like I said, this is all free for you to take advantage of on our www.regents.nextstep/calculators. And you can reach it from that hub page. But I just wanted to share that with you. So tell me, do all of you, just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, do you know where your money goes each week How about each month? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How many can say they know where their money goes each week? Thumbs up, thumbs up. That is awesome. I'm seeing some thumbs up. I shouldn't be surprised. I'm talking to some techs here. So that is phenomenal. I encourage you all to make sure that use some type of platform to create a spending plan. I see some thumbs down. That's true. We do have issues when sometimes you have too much money. You can have, well, I don't keep track all the time. And so I let my own, maybe my banking institution, I let that keep track for me. We want you to keep track of it. So making sure that you utilize that personal spending plan on that handout is a step toward the right direction. So, but there are 4 steps to preparing a spending plan, as you can see on that handout. But the first one is keeping track of your daily spending. You might want to use a spreadsheet like the one on your handout, or you can even use one of our spreadsheets, and I'm going to show you that too. This is another spreadsheet I wanted to show you guys. This is accessible to you as well from our hub page. But these are just different types of spreadsheets that you can use, and it breaks down your spending plan, and you can track it, and it tallies it for you and everything like that. Now, I know some of you might use something differently, but we want to make sure we keep track. We want you to determine your monthly income and expenses. We want you to find ways to decrease spending, and then we want you to find ways to increase the spending. That way you always know where your money goes. So with tracking your daily spending, we want to make sure that the next step in preparing a personal spending plan is determine your monthly income and expenses. So let's talk a little bit about increasing income. So looking on your handouts, hopefully you have those, on the far left column under personal spending plan is where most people will enter the dollar amount of what they spend. So that's just the basics. So now that we got the basics, and I know you all know what's income, I'm going to run through some different incomes just to give you a friendly reminder. Now, wages. Wages is your money you are paid from working. Self-employment income, you're your own boss. Child support, alimony, interest and dividends, that will be part of your income. Even Social Security, it can be retirement money, disability money, from family, survivorship money, Medicare benefits, any kind of tips and bonuses. Those are your income, and those will be the ones that you will want to put on that section when it is time to design your spending plan. So there are 2 categories to income. Can anyone tell me in the chat, what are those 2 categories when it comes to income? What do you think it is? 2 categories when it comes to determining what is my income. I'll give you a hint. Yes, gross income and net income. You have to know the difference between the 2, which I know you all do, but let's talk a little bit about gross income. Your gross income is your total income without deductions, right? That means that is that salary. If they tell you I'm going to pay you $150,000, that's your gross salary. We don't want to use that for your spending plan. We want to use your net income. Your net income is the cash that you bring home after your employer deducts the taxes, the Social Security, health insurance, flexible spending accounts that's allocated, your 401k, Roth IRA. I'm going to reiterate that. Making sure that you contribute to your 401k is a smart money move in 2022. So your income that you will be utilizing to create this spending plan should always be the net income. Never use the gross, always the net. The money that you see in your direct deposit or in your face on your check that you get is the money that you use to determine your monthly spending plan. So I want to make sure that I shed some light on that. I know you all know it, but just want to make sure. Now, many people overestimate their purchasing power. They look at their total salary as the money available to spend, which that is not true. It's always the net income. However, you should really base it on your spending plan, net income. So whatever device that you use, whatever system that you use, make sure you use your net income. Now let's talk a little bit about expenses. Taking another look at that handout. In the middle of the page is where it says my expenses, right? So, and then, I want to make sure that you have a handout. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about to make sure I'm referencing the right thing for you. I'm going to show it right here on my screen. This is the handout that we're actually referencing that Angeline put in the chat for you. So we're talking about the My Expenses now, this middle section here, right? And so fixed expenses do not change from month to month. So can someone tell me what would be a typical fixed expense for you? Go ahead and put it in the chat feature. What would be a typical fixed expense for you? Because it doesn't change month to month. Rent, mortgage, absolutely. Now the variable expenses. What would car note? Yes. What would be a variable expense? Food, absolutely. Food can definitely change. So normally food, based on your behavior, I don't know about you, but I can talk about myself. Based on our behaviors, our variable expenses will fluctuate. Savings, utilities, food, transportation, gas, maintenance, even education and personal expenses. Entertainment, you may have some degree of control over how much you pay, but for most of the part, variable expenses will fluctuate. So if you decide to lower your thermostat, and I won't get into this because Lee's going to talk about that, that's just one way to help change your expenses. But Lee's going to share more about expenses with you. So when you are filling in your expense category, both fixed and variable, feel free to change the categories. If you don't have a car payment, for instance, like I don't, eliminate that line. You don't have to have a car note. You can get to a point in your life where you pay cash, because cash is king for the car. So if you don't have a car note, eliminate that line in your expense category. If you have other fixed or variable expenses, add rows to that category. The key is to keep track. The key is to know where your money is going. Now, enough talking about expenses. Let's getting your spending under control and in line with your income is so essential, right? And so the elements to building a strong financial future, you want to make sure that you align all of that up, especially in 2022. We don't know what to expect. We have different variants coming along. We want to make sure that you are able to not only set your financial goals, but to meet and achieve your financial goals. So once you've got all of that under control, consider placing what extra money you have every month in a savings. You never know when you'll need it. And it's better to take money out of a savings account to pay for any unanticipated expenses rather than adding it to a credit card balance. And Lee's going to talk more about that. But I do want to share some light with you. I want you guys to meet the Weavers. Now, when it comes to preparing your worksheet on a monthly basis, and it will help you determine your cash flow, which includes the money coming in and out. The goal is to have more coming in than going out. Let's remember that. We want to create the spending plan, and the goal is to have more money coming in than out. So now that we've discussed gross and net income, as well as fixed and variable expenses, let's look at the Weavers. This right here is my family called the Weavers. First, they have listed their combined monthly income, sources, and income amounts. And for this example, their monthly net wages or take-home pay is $4,640. So be sure to consider whether your income sources are continuous or if they might stop in the near future. So for an example, if you receive unemployment benefits, keep in mind when you will stop receiving them. And remember to include tax refunds, which is coming up, right? Bonus checks, which are coming up too, and any other income that might be received quarterly or annually, or at other non-monthly intervals. But in this case, the Weavers, Mr. Weaver brings home about $3,500 per month from his IT job. And Mrs. Weaver works part-time at the local nursery, and she earns $1,140 per month. In addition, they both earn $10 per month from interest on some investments that they have. So that's an example of the Weavers. Now, taking a look, here's the fixed and variable expenses of the Weaver family. So here are some considerations to keep in mind. Get into the habit of paying yourself first. That is key. You want to pay yourself first or set aside a certain amount of money each month for savings when you pay your bills. I know as I was getting out of debt, I set aside money, my husband and I, and we use what's called an Every Dollar app, but I'll share more light on that later. But we will set aside money for ourselves. That money that we wanted to spend, that goes in the budget, you guys. So know that you can actually put in the budget money you want to spend on yourself because you should pay yourself first. You should set saving goals that is appropriate for you and save toward them. And an easy way to ensure that you save is to set up direct deposit. Now, I hope most of you, especially being part of the Being Path Tech, that you have direct deposit. No one really waits on a paper check. But with direct deposit, with regular transfers to your savings account, you can really save a lot more money and earn interest. At Regions, we do offer a 1% savings bonus. So if you allow us to help you save each month, this is free money you might be leaving on the table by not taking advantage of any type of savings bonus from your financial institution. So that's something to think about. This is ways to add more money and make sure you're not leaving any money on the table. Now, taking a look at the Weavers, we talked about them. We talked about their income. We talked about their fixed expenses and variables. How do you think the Weavers are currently doing? Looking at the screen, tell me, how do you think the Weavers are doing? Go ahead and put it in the chat for me. How do you think the Weavers are doing? When I look at it, I can see it's like they're saving consistently maybe $200 a month. Would anyone say the Weavers doing pretty good? It's tight. Yes, it is tight. So whenever possible, try to pay more than the minimum amount on loans in order to pay them off sooner, because the Weavers is pretty tight. They got the $200 saving, but it's still pretty tight, and you may have control over, like we said before, some of the fixed expenses and variable expenses. But at least with the fixed expenses, you do have some control over before you sign that initial agreement when it comes to any type of car loan payments. Shop around for the best value before committing to the payments, such as the car payment, and the car insurance, and your loan payments, even health insurance. Make sure you shop around. Look at that cell phone bill. I know what worked for us is that, you can always call that cell phone plan and threaten to leave, even with your cable. You can threaten to leave them. And most of the time, they can give you a better deal. But some of these you have control over and some you don't have. So it's really important to take a look at it, Make sure if you have loans that are more than 2 years old, then you may want to talk with your banker. Lee's going to talk more about that, or even your mortgage company, depending on what you're paying, to determine if you're eligible for lower rates. It never hurts to ask. And especially coming out of a pandemic, the time is now to ask for any type of lowering payments. So this way you can take some control and it not have to be so tight when it comes to your spending plan with your fixed expenses and variable expenses. So talking about the Weavers, it looks like they got an extra $80 a month. Can someone tell me, what could the Weavers do with that extra $80 a month? What would you do with an extra $80 a month? Save it. Absolutely. Definitely want to save it. Invest it. Yes. Lee's going to go over some ways on how that money really doubles and can triple for you. So definitely the Weavers should definitely think about saving it and investing it. Paying off debt. Absolutely. I hate debt. So yes, pay off any debt with that extra $80. Absolutely. Thank you all for sharing in the chat. I'm so happy that you are all interactive with me and we're able to communicate and talk through different ways on what we could do to save money and how we can help grow our money. So now let's talk about the spending and savings plan tools. I mentioned before that I like to use the Every Dollar app. But in addition to the monthly payment schedule, there are other spending plan tools out there that you can use to help build and manage your cash flow, including the envelope in the budget box or the computer spreadsheets, any type of bank software. I love bank softwares. So tell me in the chat, do any of you, what type of tools do you use to track in your spending and your savings? Do any of you use a personal spending plan now? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Yep, Mint. Okay, I see it. Banks online banking. Yes. Yes, online banking. That's my Regions app I love. And I'll show you a sample of that. The budget planner spreadsheet. I like that. Also, I'll tell you, Regis has what's called the green dollar, and I see every dollar. Yes, I love that. That's how my husband and I both budget. Absolutely perfect. And so one thing that we use is My Green Insights along with the Every Dollar app. And so with My Green Insights app, you guys, it breaks it down to spending. Budgets, trends, debts, net worth, goals, cash flow. But if you don't use any type of bank app, you can also use any other type of system like these. So these are really good systems. But I want to give you a sample of what our My Green Insights look like here. This is a breakdown. And what I love is this little color chart. It shows how much you spent from a certain time period. So if your bank doesn't offer that, or if your bank with Regions, you really want to take and dive into this My Green Insights. But use something, Mint, every dollar. Use something as far as to track all of your spending and saving. And know where you are. Okay, so building more smart money habits this year by keeping accurate records of knowing where you are is going to be key, guys. This tip may seem obvious, but it's very important to successfully implement a spending and saving plan. You must keep accurate records. And here are just a few record keeping tips. Organize your files so that it's easy to find your earnings and spending information quickly. If you're still mailing checks, mail your checks out a week before, but bill pay, utilize that bill pay with your financial institution. This will avoid any late fees, or for convenience and security, the bill pay really works online. Keep your tax records at least 3 years, and keep important records in a safe place in your home or safe deposit box at your bank is going to be key. So keeping accurate records really makes it easy to respond if there is a question on the payment. It gives you a peace of mind. You don't have to worry about forgetting or misplacing things, and you can compare previous statements. I love to do that over time and locate any discrepancies. Always check your statements for any unexpected increases in bills and so on. So Being Path Text, start your spending plan for 2022 by adding up your monthly expenses. Add up your household monthly take-home pay. Subtract your expenses from your income. List your other financial priorities. Match your money with your expenses and your goals. Review your plan and priorities every few months. And remember, a spending plan is a living document that will change with your needs and situations. Life happens, and your spending plan should be flexible enough to change with whatever comes your way. So now I'm going to stop talking here, and I'm going to go ahead now and turn it over to Lee Barnes, the VP Branch Manager of Mississippi. He's going to talk a little bit more about ways to increase your income and decrease your spending. So Lee, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Mikki. Okay, Beam Path Text. Now that Mikki have given you the initial formula of tracking your spending, we're going to discuss what to do when you have more money going out than coming in. Have you ever heard parents or family members stating that I'm having a difficult time making ends meet? I know as a child, I've heard family members, parents, grandparents discussing that, but even as a child, I didn't understand what they were talking about until I had gotten older. So what I would like to do is just ask everyone, if they can, put in the chat, what bills do you consider a priority if your expenses exceed income? So if you can, could you put that in the chat, and we will discuss that just for a few minutes. Mortgage and rent, yes, definitely. Does any rent? Definitely. Lights, rent, utilities, food, gas, all of those are great answers. Usually it is critical important to pay your necessary household expenses first: rent, mortgage, utilities, and food. And also, did you know that many utility companies have programs to lower your bill if you qualify? One of the greatest things that I feel that some of the utility companies have come up with here lately is what they call budget billing. Budget billing is great, especially if you're on a fixed income, because it will average out your bill for the entire year. So just in case there is a winter storm and your electric bill, you have to run your electric unit even even more in the wintertime. This will allow you to have like a set bill where you know where your basically what your expenses will end up being in those months. Now that we have discussed strategies on making ends meet, we're going to talk about ways to increase your income and decrease your spending. If everyone can, reference the manage your money handout. What are ways that you can increase your income in your household? If you can, just put those in the chat. Just ways that you can increase your income. Lower your utilities. That's great. Part-time job, and lowering my air conditioner during the day. I know as a child growing up in the country, my grandparents always told us this, like close the door whenever you're going out. Turn the AC unit down. You're gonna run up my electric bill. I've always heard that. But whenever I became an adult and just starting a family, I'm beginning to see what they're saying, because my kids, they will literally leave the electric bill on all the time. And someone said side hustle, door dashing. Yes, garage sales, side hustles. Those are some of the things that a lot of people are doing today. Now, one asset that a lot of people have that they really, really, really don't even know that they have is finding something that you enjoy doing on the side. And I'll give you guys a quick story. My kids, they love watching YouTube channels, and there was a little kid on there, Ryan's World, or Ryan Toys. Back in 2015, his parents literally got their cell phone and they started recording him, and he was doing toy reviews. Do you know that the little kid Ryan, his net worth today is $50 million? All because of starting a YouTube channel. So he's getting paid a ton of money doing something that he loves to do. So if there is something that you love to do, whether it's taking pictures or it could be tutoring, or if you love teaching kids how to play sports, you can literally start your own sports league, or either you can become, with a little investment, you can go to Best Buy, buy a $300 camera, and then just turn that camera into a side job where you're taking family pictures, or you may end up becoming a photographer. So those are great answers. And again, just finding something that you love to do, and finding stuff that you're passionate about, you can actually make money doing it. And also you will be enjoying doing it at the same time. Now, okay, you guys did great. So now since we talked about ways of increasing your income, now some of you guys have already given me some ways of decreasing your income. So, decreasing your spending, I'm sorry. Is there any other ways or ideas that you can think of on how you can decrease your expenses besides lowering your electric bill? Meal planning, yes. Eating less. Instead of maybe going out to eat all the time, how about just basically trying to cook dinner and bring your lunch to work? Those are great ways, because typical the average lunch, if you were to go out, will end up being like $10 a day. So that's $50 a week. But if you just turn around, prepare, cook a great dinner, bring your lunch to work, you're saving $50 a week right there. Cancel subscriptions, meal planning. Oh, wow, that's great. Canceling subscriptions, especially subscriptions in which you may not use all the time. Those could be ways in which you can just bring in additional income. And these ways, please share these with family members, friends, co-workers that might need this advice or either help. A couple of other suggestions too is making sure that you're paying your bills on time, because if you pay your bills on time, you can avoid being charged a late fee. Another thing that you could take a look at doing is controlling the use of your credit cards, because it's easy to use a credit card and then turn around and pay the minimum monthly payment each month. But if you're paying the minimum monthly payment each month and you're not paying it off, you are paying interest. And that interest is an additional expense in which you're having to pay each month, in which if you just paid it off, that could be money that could be coming into your household. And one of the biggest things that I like is always shop around to get the best deal. I will say, I will give you guys a quick story. My wife was in the market for a car, and she wanted this particular vehicle. The local dealerships, we looked all the way around, and the dealerships here locally were like $7,000 to $8,000 more. And I found the vehicle, and it was in Memphis. So we drove all the way to Memphis, made a day out of it. That vehicle was $7,000 less than what it was here in Mississippi. So of course, we drove to Memphis, got the vehicle, saved $7,000, and we got a better deal. So sometimes you might have to travel a little bit further just to get the best deal, but in the end, you have to look at how it's going to turn around and impact your household. Trust me, I love shopping local, but whenever it comes to a high ticket purchase, I will go and get the best deal. And someone stated, keep it under 25% each month helps your credit score. That's great. That is correct. And also, always pay it off before it reaches a certain amount. Definitely, Latasha, that is a great answer. Now, I know now that your minds are spinning after the previous section of finding ways to increase income, but what can you do now to make your paycheck stretch farther? I am going to discuss a couple of rules and also suggestions and strategies that I would recommend. The 1 week rule. Whenever you are considering buying something and it's more of a want, think about it for a week before you actually pull the trigger and actually go out and buy it. Whether it can be some clothes, shoes, purses, it could be a TV. Maybe just think about it for a week, because sometimes whenever you think about it, you can talk yourself out of it and just realize, well, there was more of a want than anything else. And then what you could do is actually save money, because you can just wait until you might be able to find a better deal. Budget busters. A budget buster is anything it's what we call like impulse spending. Like you just gotta have it, right? And I'll tell anybody, keeping up with the Joneses will hurt you. I meet with a lot of customers all the time, and some of the customers in which I meet with, they love to try and keep up with what somebody else is doing in their family. Now, keeping up with the Joneses, and the Joneses, a lot of the times are hurting themselves, but they're putting on a show for others and not realizing that they are really overspending themselves. And I'll just give you guys a quick story just here in banking. I ended up meeting a young lady. She was like 26 years old, and she went and bought 2 cars, brand new. And I was like, why did you go out and buy 2 cars? I wanted them. I said, you can only drive one of them at a time. But her budget was real tight, and she was barely getting by. And I gave her a couple of suggestions. I was like, why don't you just try to sell it? And she was like, no, I just want to keep it. I said, okay. So, but both of the vehicles was literally for her, and her car note on both of the vehicles was like $1,200 a month, and she was only bringing in $3,000. So just those little things, just impulse buys. Sometimes we need to just wait a week and just really talk ourselves out of it. Finding freebies. So instead of just going out, maybe on a date or going to the movies or just going to a restaurant, how about, if you're going on a date, just go to the park. Or instead of taking your kids to a jump park, just take them to a free park. And most kids, they really don't care about a jump park. They just really want to play. And I know I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. If they're just out in open space, they really don't even care. So and that was one of the things that I ended up learning, like, well, hey, I really don't even have to take them to this place, but as long as I take them somewhere where they can just run around and play, man, by the end of the night, 7 o'clock, they were tired, sleep. And I didn't spend $60, $50 or $60 at the jump part and then taking them somewhere else out to eat. I just literally took them to the park. I had my iPods in, listening, and while they're just watching them play, and I ended up saving quite a bit of money. So finding stuff that's free is always good, and rent. So if you are planning on having like if you are planning on having like a large project or either a large event, or like you just need to get a large power tool, half the time you can go to different hardware stores and you can literally rent that tool instead of actually buying it. So that could be additional ways, and also you can rent clothes too as well, because a lot of companies right now, they're offering subscriptions in which you can just rent the things that you need instead of just actually buying it. I bet you are thinking, can I even shop now? Since you've heard about spending and trying to save, setting budgets, making sure that you don't go over these budgets. But yes, you can still shop. You can still have fun. And there are different ways in which you can shop. You can literally comparison shop, and that is what we were talking about. Always, if you're looking for a large ticket item, get the item, Google it, and half the time you'll have different companies out there that offer the same products, and one of them may end up offering it cheaper. So just always do that. Weigh quality versus price. So I always say that if you can buy a good pair of shoes that's going to last you a longer time, why buy the cheaper ones? And because if you buy the cheaper ones, you know that they're going to tear up. You're going to be right back spending money on more shoes or additional item for whatever you're looking for. Wait for sales. Most people know that whenever you're going and buying a car, it's best to wait to the end of the month to buy the car instead of the beginning, because most car dealerships, at the end of the month, they're trying to get those cars off of the books. But if you buy the car at the beginning of the month, you may not catch one of the best sales. So I always try your best to wait to the end of the month, and I always just shop around for sales. And again, on the big ticket items, I always just look around. Now, since we've discussed different ways on personal, let's talk about ways in which you can actually reduce your expenses in your home. A couple of things is setting your thermostat to a certain time. I think most electric companies, they recommend that you set your thermostat to, I think, 68 degrees, I believe. And also Best Buy, Lowe's, Home Depot, they offer what they call like a smart thermostat. And a smart thermostat, it will basically on the smart thermostat, it would basically learn your patterns of how your your unit is coming on. So if it knows that you work 9 to 5, it will turn around and adjust where your unit will not kick on. So therefore, it will help reduce your electric bill. Also, you can turn around and look at reducing your water heating settings to 120 degrees, insulating your water heater pipes. This will definitely help. Washing clothes in cold water, and finding air leaks maybe throughout your window. So it's always great once a year to maybe have someone to come out and they can seal your windows, making sure that you're not having a draft to come in, and that draft could make your unit come on even more. And Mikki mentioned earlier that about savings. And did you know that if you saved $125 per month, at the end of 10 years, that you will have over $15,000 plus interest? Now, at Regions, we have at regions.com/insights, you can find a lot of interesting articles that will cover ways in which you can slash your grocery bill or tips for saving money throughout the entire year. And a couple other helpful suggestions might be to help you save money or budget money is brewing your coffee. Now, instead of going to Starbucks and actually buying coffee, and I think I'm not a coffee drinker, so I think you might spend $5 to $7 or either $8 a month. just say no to Starbucks and actually make your coffee at home. And I think Walmart actually sells Starbucks now. So if you just get a Keurig or something, you can actually make your coffee at home. And this could potentially save up to over $1,000 annually if you just make your own coffee. Now, a staycation is another way in which you can literally save money. So instead of taking 2 vacations a year, how about just plan out for 1? And then the other vacation you didn't plan on going on, just save that money. Just stay at home or just find something that's a little bit local that could be cheaper. That could be cheaper for you, and then that could help out your budget. If you can pay your monthly household expenses, but you're having trouble paying basically all of your loans, a couple of suggestions is to pay all of your higher interest loans first, and then just basically work your way down. And if you can do that, that can turn around and save you a little bit of interest. And also talk to your creditors, and also potentially get credit counseling. That's if you may run into that situation. Now, congratulations. I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be with you today. And hopefully that you guys would have learned the steps for setting financial goals, worksheet for tracking spending habits, worksheet for saving and spending plan to estimate your income and expenses, ideas of tools to help manage your cash flow, and ways to increase and decrease your spending. If you can visit regions.com regions.com/next step for additional tools and resources. All of our tools and resources are at no cost. So they are free, and you can easily go out there and read the different articles, courses, worksheets, podcasts, calculators, webinars, and actually we have items out there for kids. This concludes our formal presentation. If you have something specific or confidential, then please stay after the meeting or contact me at 601-837-0400, or you can email me at lee.barnes@regions.com. Again, please take out the time to scan the QR code, and we will be glad to help you achieve your financial goals. The Banker ID number will be located in our chat. And again, thank you guys again for having us here.
It was an
Thank
honor.
you.
Thank you so much. To everyone who's watching, we do office hours the second Saturday of every month, so look out for updates on February, and Happy New Year.